The father of Elian Gonzalez is finally here, and both sides prepare for a confrontation. Experts and investors looking for the market's bottom line. And a tasty treat hits the street. Investors gobble up Krispy Kreme's IPO. Those stories and more making news early today.
This is Early Today on NBC. And now, Nanette Hansen.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for being with us on Early Today. Before we get to our top business stories, we want to update you now on a key development, a developing story in the Elian Gonzalez saga. The father of the shipwrecked 6-year-old Cuban boy has just arrived on U.S. soil. It happened just moments ago, and it comes more than 4 months after his son was found floating off the Miami shore. We are talking about Juan Miguel Gonzalez, who you see there with his 6-month-old baby, another son from his second marriage. There you see his wife had accompanied him. It's been a wild 5 hours or so. The Gonzalez family arriving from Cuba on a private jet. Earlier on takeoff from Cuba, Fidel Castro, the Cuban president, had accompanied Juan Miguel Gonzalez and his family to the aircraft, as we said, a private jet, put them on board, and now they have arrived on U.S. soil. A few moments ago, the father of this Cuban boy had spoken, and he was enraged at times. He spoke through an interpreter, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what he said. Juan Miguel Gonzalez said, quote, "I appeal to U.S. authorities to have my son returned to me." Again, speaking through an interpreter, he was very combative. A horde of journalists, photographers, TV cameras and the like. Also a note I'd like to make about who is accompanying Juan Miguel Gonzalez. Earlier we had heard that there were a number of visas issued for kindergarten classmates of the little Cuban boy, for a kindergarten teacher, for a pediatrician. None of these people were on board that plane. One person who was on board, Reverend Joan Brown Campbell, who is now apparently an advisor to Juan Miguel Gonzalez, along with the attorney who met them there, his American attorney, Greg Craig. We will have more on this story as it develops, but recapping, Juan Miguel Gonzalez, Elian Gonzalez's father, now on American soil. He's just gone through customs, and he will be staying in the Washington, D.C. area at a Cuban diplomat's house. Now we turn to the markets, where it seems the madness has subsided. The only question, for how long? Investors are still waiting to exhale after Tuesday's heart-pounding session. Wednesday was tame by comparison. When the closing bell finally tolled, the Dow was down nearly 131 points. The black cloud still looming over the street. But not the NASDAQ. After dropping almost 140, the composite and tech stocks in particular fought their way back. The index closed up by just over 20. And that begs the question, did the NASDAQ hit rock bottom on Tuesday, or has the bottom yet to fall out? Better hold on tight. The thrill ride might not be over. Experts warn of more stomach-churning action on the NASDAQ. Tuesday's the worst yet, with the index plunging as much as 574 points at one point to 3649. And although the NASDAQ made a record comeback, strategists say it could take another turn for the worse.
It's pretty hard to tell if it's going to really hold that low, because I think the real risk that we have in the market has been one that's been with us for a long time, margin debt.
While some fear the NASDAQ will go into another panic-induced free fall, experts say that might not be a bad thing.
You're going to have a lot more volatility, but when they do go down like that is the time to buy them. That's when you can make a lot of money, when buying these stocks at the right prices.
In short, bargain hunting. Strategists say there will be plenty of bargains to be had over the next few months. They're expecting the NASDAQ to drop a few hundred points on more than one occasion.
The market is acting irrationally right now. Psychology is overwhelming common sense, but at the end of the day, I think the fundamentals remain powerful. There is cash on the sidelines. $1 trillion has come out of the NASDAQ over the last week, and I think ultimately that's going to come back into this market when we finally see technical stabilize.
The tech sector did get a much-needed boost yesterday. Bob Sellers is here with all the details and the rest of the business headlines. Hi, Bob.
Good morning, Nanette. Well, the techs did stabilize a bit yesterday. Part of the boost came from President Clinton, who had some reassuring words for biotech investors. At the White House conference on the new economy, the president said biotechs do deserve patents for their new products, a position that seemed in doubt after a speech he gave last month.
Tony Blair and I crashed the market there for a day, and I didn't mean to. I think, but I think what happened is that when the markets recovered, I think what happened is people actually read the statement instead of the headlines.
Meanwhile, Fed Chief Alan Greenspan gave investors some food for thought yesterday. At the same conference, he stressed the Fed has been raising interest rates to slow down the economy, not the stock market. Yahoo is reporting earnings that beat formal street expectations, but merely met the higher so-called whisper numbers. Stock in the web portal company was lower in extended hours. It's lower this morning in pre-market activity. Yahoo, considered a blue-chip technology company, and is seen as a bellwether for the tech sector. Elsewhere, General Motors and Bell Atlantic have announced a blockbuster deal to offer cell service in hundreds of thousands of cars and trucks by year-end. And get this, it's a built-in option. The service will be part of OnStar, that's GM's safety and concierge system. That's the latest from me. Nanette.
Every car should have one of those, I think.
Agree.
Thank you very much, Bob. We'll see you later. Now some other stories we're following this morning. President Clinton plans to veto the latest abortion bill passed by the House yesterday. A ban on the so-called partial birth abortion procedure got more than enough votes to override a veto in the House, but may have trouble doing so in the Senate. Federal and state investigators are looking into the pricing practices of the drug industry that may be costing taxpayers $1 billion a year. According to a report in this morning's USA Today, the investigation has revealed an alleged scheme where drug manufacturers inflate their wholesale prices. Medical providers then buy the drugs more cheaply and charge Medicare and Medicaid the inflated price. A line of marchers protesting the Confederate flag that hangs over the South Carolina State House expect to arrive in the capital, Columbia, today. They left Charleston on Sunday. Joe Witte joining us now with a look at our weather forecast on this Thursday morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Fairly nice weather. Warmer temperatures. Yesterday we had some snow flurries here. Look for 60s later on today. Hard to believe. Take a look at the west, everybody. We do have somewhat clear skies off in the west, and thanks to Mother Nature, it's locking in the systems way out over the ocean. Big eddy right in this area. Now, we'll have some sprinkles over parts of the northwest as that cloud system slides onshore, but weather radar also picking up the beginnings of what's going to turn out to be a very wet weekend for the East Coast. Basically for today, we see some winds coming in from the southwest and then the west later on today. Look for a windy day, Chicagoland and also Detroit, and some sprinkles in the northeast, but sunshine for Southern California, and a few scattered showers for Seattle and Portland, and some moisture adding up in some of the mountains of Idaho in the higher elevations. Highs today, 51 degrees Seattle, 71 in Los Angeles, 88 degrees in Las Vegas, and look 60 to 65 for New York City as spring returns in the east. That is the national weather. Now here's what's happening in your neighborhood. We'll see Chicagoland up to 6 degrees, breezy conditions, Bismarck 41, Denver almost 70 later today, and Dallas-Fort Worth 82 later on today, and Miami 79 with mostly sunny skies. It may be April, but the snow can still fly. Way back when, in 1886, Detroit picked up over 2 feet of snow. That's a lot of snow to shovel in the month of April.
Yeah, anytime, actually.
Yes.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Still to come on early today, Mr. Gates goes to Washington. Even as Microsoft battles the government in court, its founder is welcome in the halls of Congress. There he is. We'll be right back.
Here knows about cars.
I'm an expert.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Roomy, comfortable Camry.
Lots roomier than Camry.
Quality workmanship. Accord.
Dieter, come on. It's a Buick Century. Unlike Camry, Accord, or Taurus, every Century comes with traction control, dual climate control, and 4-wheel ABS standard.
Wow.
Take the Century Challenge, Dieter. Get a Century 2000 Special Edition with a Millennium offer worth $1,750.
What's this?
That's the ejector button. Just kidding, Dieter. Come on.
A financial representative is like a good coach.
Lynn Medeiros, AXA Advisors.
First, I gotta have all the financial X's and O's. Second, I gotta motivate people to do their best, to execute the game plan.
AXA Advisors, part of a global company helping 40 million people.
And sometimes, I have to blow the whistle and say, look, do this. It's good for you. It's what your family needs.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
Baby, show me 1 + 1 is 2. Show me all the things that you can do.
From coast to coast, from high to goodbye. That's the power of 2. Introducing Sprint 1000. 1,000 minutes of long distance for just $20 a month. That's as low as 2 cents a minute. Every night or all weekend long. The choice is yours. That's the power of 2. Anything more would be too much.
Baby, show me 1 + 1 is 2.
Switch to Sprint 1000 at 1-800-PIN-DROP.
Welcome back, everyone. It looks as though Microsoft has another date with destiny. Just days after ruling the software giant broke antitrust laws, Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson set a hearing to decide on punishment. That hearing is set to take place 6 weeks from now. The word came as the company's chairman was making the rounds in the nation's capital. Bill Gates spent the day meeting with lawmakers, even with the president, as Bob Sellers told us. For the most part, he was treated like a visiting head of state. And some say Washington shouldn't have rolled out the red carpet.
I don't think someone who's been found to have massively violated law, federal and state, is normally received by legislators as a virtual conquering hero.
Now that makes businesses...
By the way, Gates' spokesperson insists he didn't ask Congress for anything yesterday, but he did voice his frustration with the case, as he has been doing for quite some time now. CNBC's Sydney Kohara joins us now with all the overseas market news. Sid, how's trading going in London this morning? Or is it going?
Hello, Nanette. Well, it's business as usual for London stock market this morning after a computer glitch fiasco hit Europe's largest market yesterday. Traders were just left sitting idle at their desks for some 8 hours after trading in London stocks was crippled by a computer glitch. Well, today, London opened on time. Stocks gaining ground in the early going. Here's how it's trading now. But in Tokyo, the Nikkei dropped more than 1%. Finally, billionaire Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, seen here in 1996 with Michael Jackson, has spent $1 billion on U.S. stocks in the last 6 months, buying, what else, on the dips. The prince has bought $400 million of America Online and Compaq, and $100 million worth of Kodak and Xerox. Well, that's the latest. Nanette, back to you.
Okay, Sydney, thank you very much. Who knew the Saudi prince was a bear? After all, just ahead on early today, cyber traders get a taste of the real world. Tuesday's wild swing on Wall Street raises some questions for online traders. Carrie Lee will join us with some answers coming up.
Another New York State success story.
We make everything from sports equipment to aerospace technology. We're creating the largest single job expansion in the Adirondack Park in the last 20 years. New York State has really helped us out. They moved mountains for us, cut taxes, red tape, and lowered energy costs. New York State is so vast, and so are the opportunities.
General Composites is one of over 1 million companies building their future in New York State. Call and find out how you can be one of them.
Mr. Wallace.
And you are just going to love these terms.
Your terms just aren't right.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Mr. Regan, your rates are a little high.
That's not good. What's the word I'm thinking of?
I think it's no.
Mm-hmm. No.
Want banks to compete over you? Come to LendingTree.com. Fill out one form and get up to 4 offers within hours.
Oh, what a lovely time.
When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com.
$20 saved buying cowboy boots online. $25 overpaid on international shipping. If you're not offering your customers global priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service, they're paying too much. So offer it and keep them coming back. What's your global priority?
Fly like an eagle.
What's a meal to a kid? Something you have to eat to get dessert. But you've grown up. You actually look forward to a meal, especially one like Arby's Roast Chicken Club, with but the goodness of slow-roasted chicken. That beats something fried and greasy any day. Plus lettuce, tomato, and pepper bacon for a taste so good, you won't care if there's no room for dessert. The Roast Chicken Club, only at Arby's. Now that your tastes have grown up.
Hey, are you guys into high-tech?
Sure.
Sure. I love high-tech stuff.
I'm a fantastic computer addict.
It's electronics, man. Well, what kind of high-tech stuff would you like to have?
I love those big screen TVs. I would love a digital cell phone.
I'd like to get DVD.
Well, who wouldn't?
I'd want a FireWire computer.
Digital camera.
I'd love to have a satellite dish. A digital camcorder would be fantastic.
Digital all the way. I hear it's a lot better quality.
I'd probably go for the new Palm Pilot.
So what do you think of a store with all that high-tech stuff at low prices?
Well, I think we have something going here.
Roller coasters, they've never been for the faint of heart, and Wall Street lately, no exception. Tuesday, novice investors got their first taste of real market volatility. Enter two new factors to be reckoned with: record numbers of online traders and margin calls. In today's web chat segment, WSJ.com's Carrie Lee is here to talk about both. Good morning, Carrie.
Hi, Nanette. Good morning.
Let's talk about the sheer volume of online trades these days. Give us some idea how many people are actually sitting at their computers doing online trades Tuesday.
Well, hundreds of thousands to be sure. When the Dow and the NASDAQ plummeted on Tuesday, a lot of people turned to their computers and made some trades here. We took an informal poll of the top brokerage firms. Here are some of the results. Daytech Holdings, which appeals to frequent traders, handled nearly 200,000 trades on Tuesday. This is up over 18% from the firm's prior record last month. And online leader Charles Schwab handled 95,000 simultaneous sessions at the peak of trading on Tuesday. That's up over 10% from that firm's previous record. So we can see a lot of action here, obviously.
We've been hearing a lot in the news about a record day for margin calls.
Yes.
Margin calls being called in. What is buying on margin? What's a margin call?
Okay, here's sort of the textbook definition. Some investors buy their stock on margin. In other words, they take a loan out from their broker to borrow shares. Usually an investor will put up 50% of the purchase price of a stock, and the brokerage puts up the rest in what's called a margin loan, which is subject to interest. The value of the stock less the amount of the loan must equal at least 25% of the current market value of the shares. If the stock prices fall, like they did on Tuesday, that value goes below the required amount. The brokerage then can call in the loan, which means that the person has to put up more cash or be forced to sell more shares. Obviously, when that happens, more selling occurs and stocks go even lower.
So give us an idea how many people are buying on margin or borrowing to buy stocks these days.
Okay, well, record numbers to be sure, Nanette. Take a look at these numbers. Total U.S. investor margin debt reached a record $265 billion in February. This is according to TrimTabs, a Santa Rosa firm that calculates industry data. This is up almost 50% from September, just a few months ago. So a lot of people are jumping on this bandwagon.
With all this volume going on out there, with so many people sitting there typing in online, buying, selling, blah, 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 how did the online brokerages hold up? I mean, in the past, there have been trouble.
There have been trouble in the past. This time around, they really seem to have done pretty well. There were a couple delays. A few brokers had some pretty minor delays, but overall, online investors dodged the bullet. The websites and phone systems of online brokers seem to have held up with relatively little pain. Some of the firms that track this kind of thing didn't see any problems, and we looked on message boards where people often vent their frustration, and then we really didn't see many complaints. So could be a new stage for online brokers that they can handle this sort of thing now.
I'm shocked at the sheer volume in those numbers. Carrie, thank you very much for coming in this morning. That's Carrie Lee of WSJ.com. You can read more from Carrie and others on the interactive edition of the Wall Street Journal at WSJ.com. Good to see you, Carrie. Next on Early Today, investors get glazed over. Krispy Kreme rolls out its IPO. We'll see if Wall Street knows a sweet deal when it sees it.
Time for the Early Today Biz Quiz. What well-known internet company was originally supposed to be called Abracadabra? The answer in just a couple of minutes.
When you buy a bargain PC, what you're really buying is a mystery box. Is the processor up to date? Who knows? Is the internet included? Doubt it. How about a free color printer? Don't bet the ranch. With a Gateway Essential PC, you'll know you're getting the best computer for the money. Call 1-800-GATEWAY and get a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor, a year of Gateway.net, and now a free color printer for $999. That should take away the mystery.
It's the fusion of design and technology. The power of and. It lets you see like never before. Feel the power and control it. To communicate in ways you've always wanted.
Reservation confirmed, Mr. Brooks.
It all adds up to vehicles that move you. The power of and. The fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
How do you want to fly? That's the question Delta's been asking. Because different people want different things. Every passenger has a request. What would yours be?
Dr. Scholl's next stop, San Francisco.
So let's talk about feast. I do have corn. Oh, it's awful. I've tried Band-Aids.
The Band-Aids, forget it. It's a temporary fix.
They don't get rid of the corn.
Why just cover up the corn?
Why not just get rid of the problem?
This is Dr. Scholl's Cushion Gel Corn Removers. The Cushion Gel relieves the pain.
The medicated disc removes the corn.
If this product will take your corn away, I think it's a great deal.
I like the disc. It's better than buying a whole box of Band-Aids.
The gel just feels so much better.
Now you'll be corn-free.
That was really corny.
What's that guy over there? Excuse me, do you know what they're doing in there?
Oh, well, Williams is trading billions in wattage, tonnage, barrels on the Williams energy trading floor and moving it through Williams pipes.
It's a family business, and the Williams family files in. Morning, morning, they roll each other's sleeves up. Very gently, ceremoniously, it's time to start trading. The orders start pouring in for energy. Give me 4, give me 2, Spokane, butane. They're trading busy all day, and then they all roll their sleeves back down, and they all go to dinner.
Here's the answer to early today's biz quiz. What well-known internet company was originally supposed to be called Abracadabra? Amazon.com. The company founder, Jeff Bezos, decided against Abracadabra in favor of Amazon. Now, Amazon is one of the most well-recognized internet brands around the world.
I think we like Amazon better. In our early today cover story now, a sweet deal for Krispy Kreme donuts. The famed company went public yesterday, giving sweet-toothed investors a taste of their stock. And with apologies to the great one, oh, how sweet it was. The IPO, a huge success. Investors ate it up. As CNBC's Diane Diamond tells us, Krispy Kreme could soon be rolling in dough.
The first Krispy Kreme opened 63 years ago in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, started by 3 partners with just $25 and an old Pontiac delivery truck.
Oh, my.
Today, these gooey, yummy treats are found at more than 140 Krispy Kreme stores in 27 states, from California to New York and lots of places in between. The familiar green and white striped shops equipped with special signs to let the most loyal customers know when the latest batch is ready.
Best donuts ever. You can't beat these.
This decidedly old economy company offered 3 million shares of stock on that bastion of the new economy, the NASDAQ market. To sweeten the IPO, they passed out free samples in front of NASDAQ headquarters in New York.
Coupons, come back and see it.
It worked. The stock immediately began trading at $10 above the initial $21 asking price. It closed at $37, up 16 points in one day. But in this day and age, with so many baby boomers worried about their expanding waistlines, will Krispy Kreme's expansion plan work?
Well, Krispy Kreme's at about 60 cents a piece. We believe are an affordable indulgence. Everybody deserves a treat occasionally, and fortunately, we've been the beneficiaries of folks that when they decide it's time to have a little indulgence and treat themselves well, Krispy Kreme tends to get their fair share of those customers.
Diane Diamond, CNBC for Early Today.
We like the hats. I'm Nanette Hansen. This is Early Today on NBC.
Where in the world is
Matt Lauer?
You decide. Just log on and vote by April 14th. It's your chance to tell Matt Lauer where to go.
Coming up later today, love her hair. Need that lipstick. How does she stay so thin? Joan Collins reveals beauty secrets of the stars on the next Later Today.
Next
Next, all new Rosie. David Duchovny! He'll bowl you over. But what does he have in store for Rosie now that they're competing on Celebrity Millionaire?
I don't want to say anything about that.
Plus, she's moonlighting as an author of a tell-all book. Find out what Hollywood secrets are revealed by Sybil Shepherd. And Tilly Weisberg celebrated her 100th and 101st birthday with Rosie. Now it's time for the big 102. Next, all new Rosie.
Weekdays at 4 on KECI 13.
Liza takes her job very seriously, but when it comes to getting candy, she can be pretty sneaky. Now, our general manager, Keith, he keeps a bowl of candy on one of his tables in his office. She'll wait until he's out of the office. She'll ask, she'll sneak around to make sure that he's out of the office, and then she'll run down here, grab a handful, and by the time she's back up there, you can't even count 1, 2, 3. She's in and out just that quick. Watch us weekday mornings at 5:57 on Montana Today.
Shut up! Shut up!
Please, don't get like this. Please, just don't get...
Don't get like what? No, come here! Don't get like what?
I didn't mean it. It's just to get so angry.
That's enough from you! Enough! 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 That's enough! I'm gonna give you something to scream about! Get over here! Get up!
I can't.
I'm talking to you! Get up!
I can't get it off! Don't do this!
Stop trying! You're asking for it again!
If you or anyone you know needs help, call 1-800-655-STOP.
You're watching KECI 13, the news leader.
And